Right now, in this exact moment, a thought just crossed your mind that you did not ask for. You didn't choose it. You didn't summon it. It just arrived. Like a stranger walking into your house without knocking. And here's what nobody tells you, that happens every single second of your life. Every single one. You think you're the one doing the thinking. But what if you're not? What if the voice in your head, the one you call you, is actually something you have almost no control over? Stay with me, because this isn't a philosophy lesson. This is your life. And once you see this, you cannot unsee it. There's a man named Michael. Mid-30s. Lives in Columbus, Ohio. Good job. Nice apartment. By every outside metric, doing fine. But Michael can't sleep. Not because of stress. Not because of money. He can't sleep because at 3 a.m., his brain starts replaying a conversation from 8 years ago. A conversation where he said the wrong thing at a party, and someone laughed. 8 years ago. He doesn't want to think about it. He tries to stop. But it keeps coming back, like a song stuck on loop, that you never even liked. And Michael's real problem isn't the memory. His real problem is that he thinks he should be able to stop it. He thinks not being able to control his thoughts means something is wrong with him. Nothing is wrong with Michael. But almost everything he believes about how his mind works is wrong. Here's what neuroscience has actually found, and I want you to pay attention, because this changes everything. Your brain processes around 11 million bits of information per second. 11 million. The number of bits you're consciously aware of. About 50. 50 bits out of 11 million. That means roughly 99.9996% of everything your brain is doing right now is happening without your permission, without your knowledge, and without your consent. You are not the CEO of your mind. You are not even the manager. At best, you are a passenger reading a newspaper in the back seat, while something ancient and automatic drives the car. Psychologists call this the default mode network. It's a system in your brain that's always running in the background, like an app you never downloaded, but can't delete. When you're not focused on something external, this network hijacks your attention. It drags you into memories, into imagined futures, into social calculations, all without asking you first. And here's the part that breaks most people when they first hear it. The feeling that you're choosing your thoughts. That sense of, I'm thinking this because I decided to. Scientists call that the narrative self. And it's not a real process. It's a story your brain tells you after the fact, to make you feel like you're in charge. You're not making the decisions. You're just signing the paperwork. But wait, I said I'd come back to something. And here it is. If you're not in control of your thoughts, then who or what is? The answer is layered. And it's more unsettling than you think. Layer 1, evolution. Your brain was not built to make you happy. It was built to keep you alive. And in the ancient world, the world your brain was actually designed for, survival meant staying alert to threats. It meant remembering pain more vividly than pleasure. It meant scanning for danger, even when everything was safe. That's why negative thoughts are louder than positive ones. That's not a personal flaw. That's called negativity bias, and it's baked into the hardware at a species level. Your brain treats bad news like an emergency broadcast, and good news like elevator music. You are, in a very real sense, running ancient survival software on a 21st century problem set. Layer 2, your environment. Every piece of content you've consumed. Every conversation you've had. Every trauma, every joke, every fear you absorbed as a child before you were even old enough to question it, all of that is sitting inside your subconscious, shaping what thoughts bubble up and when. Your mind is not a blank page that you write on. It's more like a manuscript written over and over by every experience you've ever had, and you're only reading the most recent layer. Layer 3, and this is the one nobody wants to talk about. Other people. The voice that tells you you're not smart enough. Where do you think it learned those words? The thought that says you'll never be good enough, the one that hits you right before you do something brave. That's not some abstract force. That's a voice you downloaded from someone else, a parent, a teacher, a culture, and made your own. Most of the thoughts running through your head aren't even yours. They're inherited programs. Let me make this concrete. There's a concept in psychology called ego depletion. Here's what it means in plain language. The more decisions you make throughout the day, even small ones, like what to eat for lunch or which email to answer first, the more your mental willpower gets drained. And as it drains, your brain goes on autopilot more and more. Your impulses take over. Your emotional reactions get louder. Your filters get weaker. That's why you say things you regret at night that you'd never say in the morning. That's why diets get broken at 11 p.m. That's why the same fight keeps happening in relationships, not because the person is bad, but because both people are running on empty, and the autopilot is flying the plane. There's a famous experiment by neuroscientist Benjamin Libet. He hooked people up to brain monitors and asked them to flex their wrist whenever they felt like it, completely freely, whenever they chose. Here's what he found: the brain signal that initiates the movement appears up to a full second before the person consciously decides to move. The decision happens before you know you made it. Your consciousness gets informed. It doesn't get consulted. This experiment shook the neuroscience world. It still does. Because if even your conscious choices are preceded by unconscious brain activity, what does it mean to have free will? Now here's where most videos would start selling you something. A meditation app. A morning routine. A 5-step system to take back control. I'm not going to do that. Because I think that's actually the wrong frame. The goal isn't to control your thoughts. That's a war you cannot win, and fighting it only makes the noise louder. The goal is something different. And it's simpler. And it's harder. The goal is to stop identifying with every thought that shows up. Here's the shift. You've been living like you are your thoughts. Like every thought that crosses your mind is a direct transmission from your true self. So when a dark thought appears, you panic. When an anxious thought appears, it feels like a verdict. But what if thoughts are more like weather? You don't control the weather. Clouds show up. Rain happens. Sometimes there are storms you didn't expect. But you are not the weather. You are the sky that the weather moves through. The thoughts are not you. They are events that happen in you. And the moment you stop fusing with every thought, the moment you become a witness instead of a prisoner, something genuinely shifts. Back to Michael. He doesn't need to stop the 3 a.m. thought. He needs to stop believing that the thought means something about him. He needs to understand that his brain, running ancient survival code, is doing its job. It's flagging a social threat. It's trying to protect him. The thought is not the enemy. The thought is a signal. And you are allowed to receive a signal without obeying it. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps and built an entire school of psychology from that experience, said it like this: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. You can't always choose the thought. But you can choose what you do with it. I want you to sit with a few things before this ends. How many of your beliefs about yourself, about what you're capable of, about what you deserve, were actually chosen by you? Or were they installed before you were old enough to notice? How much of your inner critic is actually your voice, or is it someone else's, still living rent-free in the house of your mind? And here's the one that hits hardest. If the version of you that shows up under pressure, tired, depleted, reactive, if that version does something you're ashamed of, is that who you are? Or is that what happens when the conscious layer gets thin, and the autopilot takes over? I'm not asking to let you off the hook. I'm asking you to develop a more honest, more accurate, more compassionate map of what's actually happening inside you. Because you cannot change what you do not understand. Here's the truth, at the bottom of all of this. You are not broken because you can't stop your thoughts. You are not weak because your mind goes places you don't want it to go. You are not your darkest 3 a.m. moment, or your worst impulse, or the voice that tells you that you'll fail. You are the one who notices all of that. And the noticing, that small, quiet act of awareness, is the beginning of everything. Not control. Awareness. Not silence. Understanding. Not a better mind. A different relationship to the one you already have. Most people spend their entire lives thinking their thoughts are them. You just chose not to. And that, quietly, without any drama, is the most powerful thing you can do. If something in this hit you, drop it in the comments. I want to know which part. And if someone in your life is fighting their own mind right now, send this to them. Not because it fixes anything. Because sometimes, just knowing you're not alone in the fog is enough. Silent minds. See you in the next one.